Welcome to Education Mastery. If you are preparing for UGC NET or any state set exams, sure, this channel will help you. See, in this video, we are going to learn about types of assessments: formative, summative, ipsative, diagnostic, placement. At last, I have some PYQs we'll discuss. Most important topic in teaching aptitude unit: assessment and evaluation. In this video, we have only about assessment. Next video, I'll do about evaluation also. Very important topic. Now, what is assessment? Why do we need to assess the child? To know about the child, teacher needs to assess, isn't it? When we start to do assess, we get to know about the strength and weakness of the child. We get to know about the child. To analyze the child, assessment is very important. Okay. In assessment, we have some types. So effective assessment should align with the learning objectives. We have a curriculum. Our assessment should align with the curriculum. And our assessment should be, it should be free from bias and accessible to all the students. Next. So first, formative assessment. Formative assessment is an ongoing process. During class hours, teacher is assessing the child, whether it is in writing test or oral test or discussion, anything. Teacher is assessing and she needs to give constructive feedback. So it improves the child lot. So that is formative assessment. It's an ongoing process during class hours. This is all key term there. Okay. The primary goal of formative assessment is to provide continuous feedback that can be used to improve both teaching and learning. Okay. Next. So main purpose is to monitor student learning and provide ongoing feedback. This is very important. Where we have ongoing feedback, informative assessment. Teacher corrects the child that time itself. Okay, that is important. So how do we do? When doing quizzes, class discussion, observation during in-class activities, or reflection journals. Reflection journals, children are writing their own journals there. Okay, and homework assignments that help teachers understand how well students are grasping the material and make adjustments to instruction as needed. Okay. This type of assessment helps teachers identify areas where students are struggling and allows for timely interventions. This is very important. So summative assessment, usually we do it in the end of the unit or end of the course we do. Why do we need to do summative assessment? How well child has understood the concept, isn't it? That is very important. Wherever we have end or judge, these are key terms in summative. Okay. During those things or formative assessment, during class hours, ongoing feedback. That is all key term for formative assessment. Summative assessment, judging students' overall performance and understanding at the end of an instructional period. What is instructional period? Whatever thing teacher is teaching, that lesson, that concept, whatever, that is instruction. How she takes the class. Okay, in which way she is doing. That is all instructions. Okay, next, it is designed to evaluate student learning at the end of an instructional period, such as unit or semester or course. This summative. So how do we do? In what are the ways we can do? Standardized test we can conduct, end of term project, year-end report card. This is all help the teacher to understand about the child. How child has understood everything. Okay. Next one, portfolio. This is also comes under summative also. Some portfolios comes under formative also. We have some divisions in portfolios also. I'll make separate video for portfolio. Nowadays, set exams or UGC NET, they have started to give importance for portfolios. We have some divisions in this. So portfolio means it's a collection of student work. Okay, collection of students work, everything. Not only academic part, extracurriculum things also, sports activities, everything. And accomplishments gathered over time, often showcasing their skill, progress, and achievements. So portfolios help teacher to understand about the child very well, not only from academics, all the aspects of the child, teacher can able to understand using portfolios. Next one, diagnostic assessment. Diagnostic, we know, even in medical term also we use diagnostic. Okay, if you are not well, so we have to go for diagnostic center and we do those things diagnostic. We have to make it proper. That is something we need to do it proper. Diagnostic. Okay, we need to find it. That is also right. Diagnostic. We need to diagnose what's the problem is going on. Isn't it? That is diagnose. Same thing. For child also, if child is not studying well, if child is having problem in some way, so teacher should diagnose and teacher should assess really where the problem is. That is diagnostic assessment. Okay. So diagnostic assessment is used at the beginning of a course or unit to determine students' existing knowledge, skills, and abilities. Okay. This type of assessment helps teachers to identify strength and weakness. This is very important. Diagnostic assessment keyword is strength and weakness. Okay. Usually in class, in school, how teachers do diagnostic assessment? First, they conduct pre-test about some topic. Okay. In that, she gets to know how many children are not understood the topic very well. So again, she needs to pick those children. Again, she needs to same topic she needs to teach. Then again, post-test. Then we have to compare pre-test and post-test. This is diagnostic. In schools, we do okay pre-test and post-test. Sometimes related to this also they ask you diagnostic, and we get to know about the weakness of the child and we are diagnosing the child. Okay, next. For example, in a classroom, before starting a unit on three-dimensional shapes, a math teacher gives a pre-test to assess students, understanding a basic concept such as two-dimensional shapes. The results guide the teacher in planning the lesson that address any gaps in the foundational knowledge. This is a common example they have given there. Before starting the 3D shapes, first a teacher should understand how much children understood about the 2D shapes. So she is conducting some test today. Okay, next, how to do and what are the steps we need to follow. This is also very important. First, identify learning objectives. First, whatever things we should fix our objective there. Then design the test, administer the test, analyze the results. Then adjust the instruction, provide feedback. Then these things. Okay, next, importance of diagnostic test. Why do we need to do? To customize their teaching method. First, how it helps the teacher. See, if any teaching method, if it doesn't work there, teacher should change the method there. So another method she needs to try. So to customize their teaching method. Next, it helps to understand gaps in students' prior knowledge. Next, address areas where students need more support. Okay. If child is not good in that, most of the children are not good in that topic, again, teacher needs to change her method of teaching. So that is diagnostic for the teacher. Next, it provides a clear picture for students' abilities, enabling more effective and personalized instruction to better academic performance, the proper additional resource to support students' learning. This is all diagnostic assessment. Next, ipsative assessment, very important. Ipsative assessment, usually we do. See, if I take any girl and I'm conducting some test to that girl today. Okay, she is getting some marks. Same topic after 2 days for same girl I'm doing. So I'm comparing the results. That is called ipsative. In that I'm getting to know how much child has understood, how child is growing. Okay. Now, ipsative assessment is a method that tracks a student progress by comparing their current performance with their own previous work. Okay. Instead of measuring against other students, I'm not comparing with any other student. I'm comparing with themselves. Okay. That is ipsative assessment. This approach helps to track how much a student has learned and grown over time. So, very important, ipsative assessment, comparing same child. Okay. Only their marks I'm comparing. So, it helps me to understand how child has understood the topic. Next one, that is ipsative. So teachers can use ipsative assessment to understand about personal growth of child. This is key term there. Personal growth of child in various aspects. Learning journals, how I get to know. So students write about their work and reflect on improvements over time. So the children are writing their learning journals. Then in that I get to know how child is improving, how child is improving. The next, progress checklist. Teachers compare students' current work with past performance. Portfolios, collect and review students' various kinds of work. Self-reflection sheets. Students compare their recent work to earlier work And note progress. Progress charts. Use charts to show students how their skills have developed over time. These things also they may ask in exam. Okay. How teacher gets to know. What are the things they help teacher to know about Ipsative assessment? Okay. What are the tools they help teachers? Something. Okay. So learning journals, progress checklist, portfolio, self-reflection sheets, and progress charts. Okay. Next one. So we have completed formative, summative, diagnostic, Ipsative. Next, placement assessment. Placement assessment is used to determine the appropriate level or course for a student based on their current knowledge and skills. See, first, they need to assess the current knowledge of a child. Okay. Knowing that level, they will segregate. That is placement. Okay, this type of assessment is typically given before the start of a course or program to identify the best fit for each student. First, they will assess the current knowledge level, then they make the group. In that group, she should join. That is placement. This helps ensure they are placed in the right level to support their learning. Next. At the beginning of a language course, students take a placement test to determine if they should be in a beginner, intermediate, or advanced class based on their language proficiency. According to their current level, teacher will place in their group. Like that, you keep it in the mind. Okay. Then for each group, different kinds of treatments will be given. Different kinds of practices will be given. So it helps the child to move. Next one. It is also referred to as pre-assessment is conducted prior to instruction to know the student's skill level about the subject. Next. This is also very important. Difference between placement and diagnostic assessment. See, placement assessment to determine students' current level of knowledge or skill to place them in the appropriate course or program. Diagnostic assessment to identify students' specific strength and weakness in a particular subject or skill area. To find their strength and weakness, diagnostic assessment. Placement only to find the student's current level of knowledge. Next, it helps in identifying the right starting point for instruction. Very important. Sometimes these things, it makes us confused. Placement assessment, identifying the right starting point it gives you. Next, it helps in understanding individual learning needs and tailoring instruction accordingly. Okay, according to that, I will make it. Here, just I'll make their group there. Okay, it helps in identifying the right starting point for instruction. Next, administered before instruction begins. Next, can be administered at any point during the instructional process, often when a teacher wants to understand why a student is struggling. Usually, placement assessment will do it before instruction begins. Here, sometimes after teacher starts, if child is lagging in any concept, teacher can do it. Okay, can be administered at any point during the instructional process, teaching process. Okay, often when a teacher wants to understand why a student is struggling. So this is very important. Learn it. Next. Now we'll see some PYQs. Which of the following is an example of formative assessment? Final examination, midterm test, quiz during the teaching of a lesson, end of term project. So answer is quiz during the teaching of a lesson. That during is a keyword there. Formative assessment during class period, during class hours we are doing. That is ongoing process. So final examination, midterm test, end of term project, we don't have. So quiz during the teaching of a lesson, formative assessment. Next. So formative assessment is conducted during the learning process to provide ongoing feedback. So we have everything. Final examination, usually it's summative assessment. Midterm test also summative assessment. Quiz, end of term project also summative assessment. Next. Summative assessment is used to, so answer is C, measure students' learning at the end of an instructional period. Okay. See, monitor students' progress throughout your course, that is formative. isn't it? Measure students' learning at the end of an instructional period, right? Provide ongoing feedback, also formative. So identify gaps in students' understanding before instruction. Gaps, where do we need? Diagnostic assessment. Okay, next. Which type of assessment is used to identify students' prior knowledge and learning gaps before beginning a new topic? That gap is a keyword there. Okay, diagnostic assessment, we are finding the gap there. Okay, where child is having, where child didn't understand. So that is diagnostic. So summative, formative, so diagnostic assessment. So diagnostic assessment is used to understand students' existing knowledge and identify learning gaps before starting new instruction. Next, placement tests are primarily designed to determine the appropriate level or course for students based on the current knowledge. Okay, based on the current knowledge, that is a key term there. So placement assessment help place students in the right level or course based on their current skills or knowledge. Okay, next, assess overall student performance at the end of their summative assessment. Determine the appropriate levels based on the current knowledge. This is right. Formative, ongoing feedback, formative assessment. Evaluating the effectiveness of the teaching method. This is also summative assessment. Next one. Ipsative assessment compares a student's performance with, answer is B, previous performance of the same student. That is ipsative assessment. Same. Okay. So ipsative assessment compares a student's current performance with their past performance to measure personal. Why do we need to do ipsative assessment? To measure the personal growth of the child. Okay, the performance of their peers is what. Next. Thank you so much. Sure, this video will help you. Very important topic. Subscribe the channel. Next video, I'm planning to upload about evaluation. Okay, thank you so much. All the best.